Welcome. Hold on, man. Who started this thing up last time? Is that you or is that
I
you or
don't
me?
remember. I don't remember.
All right. So episode 41,
Yep.
guys. I'm actually in a different location this time. I'm in Portland, Maine, and all we'll be doing every day is eating lobster rolls.
Coming back 10 pounds heavier.
10 pounds heavier, man. Lobster rolls. But
You're gonna
yeah,
have rolls.
I'm gonna have rolls. All right. So I'm in a hotel. So sorry, anybody watching the video. It's a little dark, but we promised on episode 40 that we would cover the October Law on episode 41.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, Chris, you have been in the woods a few
Mhm.
days, the
Yeah.
past, couple days. Um, I have been out of town up in Maine doing some work,
Right.
and so usually every year I make a video on the October Law, and I always tell the same story. You know, 25 years ago, when we were in, we used to go to hunting outfitters and stuff. And I remember as a kid being in these outfitters and being in the camp and stuff, and everybody would say it's the October Law, and the deer don't move. It's like they know it's October, and they just stop moving. And it was always weird to me because all summer, all through October, the outfitter would, they had your email and they would send you pictures,
Yeah.
trail camera pictures, like, hey guys, here's the pictures we're getting, which was cool. And then all of a sudden you get there, and the first couple days you stop seeing deer,
Hmm.
and they would call it the October Law. And so I have no idea what you're going to talk about, and you have no idea what I'm going to say. So let's describe it to viewers, because it's a very controversial topic. Um, to me, I just think it's a funny topic, um, because deer move all year long.
Hmm.
They got to feed, um, but things in October do change. So let's break this down for the listeners, and some older hunters might get it, but some younger hunters coming up, there's so much information out there, so maybe it'll give them a little bit of a different perspective.
Right.
So
So I had an actual instance this week with a guy at work, a real young fella, and
he punched you.
he said he said he's not seeing very many deer. It's the October Law.
Oh boy.
The season just started.
Right. Season just started and it's the October Law.
I said, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "I had all these trail camera pictures. Now I don't have any." And he's
Yep.
like, "It's the October Law." And he's like, "Are you going out any?" I'm like, "What do you mean? Am I going out? It's the first week of archery. Yeah, I'm
Here,
going out.
he's not seeing no deer. It's October Law, and you're seeing 20 deer.
Yeah, yeah." I said, "Yeah, I'm going out. What? Why aren't you going out?" He's like, "Man, I'm just not seeing them." And I said, "Well, they've got to eat sometime, so they're gonna move at some point, you know."
Hmm.
He's like, "Yeah, but I think they're nocturnal." I said,
See, that right there, it just bothers me,
"See,
because
that's
it
how everybody assumes since something's nocturnal that it's the
yeah,
October Law."
right. Deer are not nocturnal. They gotta feed during the daytime.
Yeah, I mean, they they get up and move at least what 2 3 times a day at least. They got to get up, stretch, go to the bathroom, grab a bite to eat, and lay back down.
Hmm.
I mean, they have to move at some point.
Yeah,
They might not move far, but they got to get up and go to the bathroom. Just
right.
just like you would, just like if you was laying in bed all day long sick, you would still have to get up and go to the restroom at some point. You know,
Hmm.
you
Yep.
just it's fact of life. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, I
so
mean, that's like the typical response, that you'll hear from somebody is, it's the October Law, they're all nocturnal.
yep, they're
Well,
all nocturnal.
they may be nocturnal on, that specific person's trail camera,
Right?
but they got to be also daylight somewhere else.
Yeah, they're
Um,
definitely daylighting somewhere.
Yeah, and usually what happens is deer season starts.
Yeah.
So your buddy, for instance, you know, he was seeing all these deer on camera, and the hunting season started. Now he's not seeing the deer. Well, what
Right.
happens? They move somewhere else where they're not getting pressured. Could be
Or
an
another food has dropped
mhm.
or was supplied somewhere else. They're transitioned to a different food source.
Yeah, what happens? I mean, usually, depending when they were planted, but like beans in Maryland, usually right around September 15th to 20th, they start turning yellow. So when they start turning yellow, they're not palatable anymore. So you have all these different types of things transitioning in October to where, yeah, you might have been getting all these pictures, relatively close to beans or something, and then all of a sudden they turn yellow, and then they go someplace else. you
Right.
know then the hunting season started. You're walking in your woods pressuring the deer, spooking them out. All it takes is one time, a couple
Yeah.
times, they go someplace else. And then you also have acorns. Acorns are dropping this time of year.
Hmm.
um Deer start getting their summer coats, and it does get, they get a couple warm days or something. They don't want to travel too far in the heat and things like that. So there's a lot of things happening. They're gearing up for the rut, pre-rut. I mean, shoot, you're only a couple weeks away from the pre-rut, and you're already starting to see scrapes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's a whole lot of different types of things happening right now. But the primary thing is hunting season. People walking in the woods, spooking deer, and like I said, I referenced that the outfitters and stuff we hunted. It was all these magazines, and it was the October Law back then was huge, because they sold magazines about it, and it was all thrown in there to the moon guide that they used to sell with the
Hmm.
the dial and everything. It was all that was related, and it was all about sales pitch, for the October Law. Um, and I will say, if you have private land, say you have 40 acres of private land, well, you can only do so much on 40 acres. If the deer are not on your 40 acres, it's not like you can just go someplace else to find them.
Right.
So you're limited. So hunters are only seeing a small perspective of what's actually happening because deer don't live on 40 acres.
No.
You know what I mean? You spook
Right.
a deer, it's running across that 40 acres.
Hmm.
Now, if you took a huge property, say, I don't know, just say a mile by a mile, square mile, you're going to see deer in the daylight. Those deer are somewhere in that square mile moving during the daytime. You know what I mean? So hunters are only seeing a very small percentage of what that deer is actually doing. Does that make sense?
To me, it does.
Yeah. So that's what's happening. It's not that the deer are just magically decide that it's October and I'm not going to move and I'm just going to show up during nighttime. They're somewhere,
Right.
and you can't do anything about it if you only have a very small property,
Yeah.
because they're just somewhere else. you
Well,
know
for instance, excuse me. For instance, yesterday, um, well, let me start at the beginning. Monday night on a different property, I saw one of my shooters. Okay, came out right before dark. There, I got stuck up in the tree for like over an hour, and had to wait this thing out so I can get down.
hmm
Now,
but you played it smart.
I didn't want to bump this deer because it was running with two other good ones. So there should be three good ones in the area, possibly still. I don't know. They're starting to disperse. But yeah, I tried to play it smart, got out of there probably an hour after dark. I got out of the tree about 8:30. Um, got out. Don't think that I bumped anything, so I think I was safe that way. Um, so I didn't want to go there last night, just in case. Give it a break, let it cool off.
Mm,
So I went on my own property here, which I only have 3 acres total, and the house sits on one. So I have like 2 acres of woods below the house. And I have it all set up, um, as far as kill plot and tree stands and shanties if I need to get up and into a shanty if it's raining or something. Uh, anyhow, last night I got totally blanked, didn't see a thing, and I stayed. I was in early, I was out late. I mean, I spent like 6 hours in the tree after work, and it was
mm.
horrible. It was just horrible. There was nothing moving but squirrels, and never seen a deer. Now I could have easily come home and say, "Man, October law, they're nocturnal, blah blah blah," but I didn't. And the
They were
moral of the
just
story,
they were just someplace else.
yeah, it was just someplace else. The moral of the story is I went to the same exact tree stand tonight, and I got stuck up in the tree an extra half hour because I had uh what I have I had 5 doe come in under right underneath me. I turned all the cameras on, was getting ready to shoot this doe, and out of the corner of my eye seen something else coming. And from a different direction this big buck come in.
Hmm.
So I didn't want to screw up anything by shooting a doe. So I just hung the bow back up and watched. And the buck wasn't he was on a different course. He was actually, when I saw him, he was angling away from me,
Hmm.
and he went into the other side of the kill plot, which is too far to shoot. So I just watched him there, and I waited for him to get out of the plot and walk away before I could get down. But like I said, last night blanked. Tonight, here they were. They just made this, they make loops around here. And, you know, the area I live in is camps and things. And man, there's a lot of action right now. First week, I guess there's people in their camps, hunting or doing whatever they're doing. They're making noise, and it's bugging me. And it must be bugging the deer too, because they came out like literally 4 minutes before dark. You
They
know,
they know what's up.
yeah,
They hear the same thing every year. Start to hear people and um,
yeah.
four
It's
wheelers going through the woods. They know.
it's pressure.
Yeah.
It's just pressure. Period.
Yep.
And you know the the amount. Oh, I forget what I was going to say now. I'm getting old. I'm tired.
You're old. You're old.
I'm old and tired. Oh gosh. But yeah, they just like you said, they know when they start hearing, you know, if they see people walking around, if they're hearing stuff, they just stay at arm's length for a little while. And then
Hmm.
when the noise dies down right before dark, here they come.
Yep. I listened. It was yesterday, I think, but I listened to. I don't even remember who it was from, so I can't reference who said it. But it was on Instagram, and it was a very good video, and they were talking about how deer pattern you before you pattern them, and he was a member of a hunting club. Well, all the club members would show up on the weekends and have four wheelers, and they were riding through the property, and nobody would see nothing. Well, he would skip that and hunt during the week because there was nobody there, and there was all kinds of deer. So his example was, the cars pull up, the gate, you get the key out, the chains rattling on the gate,
Yeah, right.
you open the gate up.
Right.
So he mixed it up. He would park on the outside of the gate and
Hmm.
walk in. That way
Hmm.
there's no noise on the gate,
Yeah.
and or he'd enter through a different part of the property. Just mix it up. Change your entry and exit routes, obviously depending on how you can, but don't be predictable with the
Yeah.
deer, you know. Change it up. Don't let them pattern you. And it was a very good example. Man, I wish I knew who it was to reference it, but
Yeah. I mean, that's a good idea. I mean, I I have one neighbor that jumps on the side by side, and he'll ride it right down to some shanty that he has down in the woods.
Mhm.
And what I still call prime time, the last 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes, I hear him fire up and motor it back to the house. He don't even stay till dark, and he's got a ride.
Reminds me of hunting with your dad.
But like you said, they're gonna pattern that.
Yeah,
They're gonna hear that thing come in there and park,
right. Yeah, I
and
mean,
then they're gonna hear him go.
they hear the
And
same thing.
a lot of times, like, I'll see deer move after he drives, you
Well,
know,
they
across the
probably
property.
they're probably within that area, and then they hear them fired up, and they just sit there. They
Yeah,
watch them ride
they
by,
watch for him to ride by, and they
and then
they
they
continue
come
on.
out. Yeah, that's what
You
they
know,
do, man. That's like everybody wants to make a big deal, about silly stuff. Oh my God, it's the October. No, it's not, man. It's just that deer
they're
season.
just being smart.
Yeah, it's just
That's what it comes down to.
yeah, deer season started. They're changing things up.
They're
It's
they're
that's
outsmarting humans.
yeah,
That's what it comes down to.
that's easy.
Well,
That's pretty easy to do.
well, that's what I'm saying. If someone's out there saying October law, you got outsmarted,
Hmm. What I wanted
and
to
you're
say
admitting
was
to it.
right. What I wanted to say was one person is experiencing the October law while another person is having great deer hunting.
Yeah,
It's literally,
yeah.
pressure, where that food source is, where those deer are going, how each property is going to be different. You
Hmm.
might have that magical property where it just lays out really well. There's food sources there. You have really good entry and exit routes. You're not pressuring the deer, and the deer are there. Then you property 5 minutes down the road lays out terrible. You have no entry and exit. You spook deer.
Yeah,
There's no food there. And then you get trail cameras pictures at nighttime and you say it's the October law. All the deer are nocturnal. This place sucks.
yeah.
Well, it's possible. Well, you got to go find them someplace else. I mean, they're
Right.
somewhere.
Well,
They're
and that's
somewhere in daylight.
I I for example have to admit I've got some really bad exit routes.
You do.
I mean, I can't help it with
Right.
the area with
There's
the
nothing you can
area.
do.
Yeah, with the area I'm dealt with. I have some bad exit routes, so I get stuck in a tree a lot of times.
Yeah, but you play it smart on your destination plot where you don't hunt it in the mornings.
Yeah, that, and I stay an hour late if I have to. You
Yeah.
know, I
I mean,
mean,
what did you do the other night? You stayed till 8:30?
stay till 8:30 at night.
And it's dark at 7, what,
It's dark at
7:40?
7. It was like dark at 7:10 that time of the week.
7:10?
Yeah, it was like
Wow.
7:10, 7:15. It was probably it was really questionable because actually that bucket came under me. I actually thought I might shoot him,
Mhm.
and then I thought, he's one of three good ones, and I really want his big brother, so I'm just gonna let this one slide. And I would pick up the binoculars and look at him. I could see him plain as day. Drop the binoculars, pick up the bow,
Can't see.
can't see.
And you're on a field edge,
I'm on the field edge.
hunting over
And
green.
yeah, and if had I been in the woods, I would have spooked him because
Mhm.
I would have got down. I would have been descending my tree as he was coming in, and I would have spooked him, and it would have been all over right there.
Mhm.
So I got lucky. I stayed late anyhow, just making sure. Because man, I am being I'm telling you, I'm being so safety on this thing.
Well,
You
you
know,
got a couple nice deer, so eventually it'll work out.
I'm hoping I get one of those three. I mean, I've got to be so careful.
Did you name them all is the question.
I know I don't do names. I
Come
don't.
on,
I
man.
don't.
Do
I
pick a
don't
name.
do. I didn't do that.
You don't pick names for deer, but you pick names for 2 black squirrels.
Yeah, yeah, I did too.
You text me the other day and said, "Hey, I got these 2 black squirrels. I'm gonna name them left and right."
Yeah, they're nuts.
Yeah, they're nuts.
They're totally nuts, left and right.
They're twins.
Uh,
Twins.
I seen them again tonight.
Mm,
Actually, I
black
think there was 3 of them.
black squirrels.
Yeah, they're there must be breeding them. I'm breeding them down there. Who wants
Right.
to buy a black squirrel?
Yep.
But yeah,
So
I'm like I said, I'm playing it safe. I'm trying to zone in on one of those big ones, and I don't want to mess up.
nah, it'll work out.
And then
We're,
this one tonight, uh, I don't know which one he was,
hmm
you know, and it's a different piece of property, so I don't think it was one of the. I call them the three amigos because they was running together all summer.
So you do name them.
So I did name them, but it's just the three amigos. They don't have real names though.
Hmm
But uh, yeah, they ran together all summer. It seemed I was getting pictures, daylight pictures too. I mean, tons of them, and I don't know if it must be the October law because I quit getting daylight pictures. I don't
So
know.
I guess the title of this episode should be called the October Law.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I think uh, with dwindling daylight, they're creatures of habit, and I would say with dwindling daylight, they're not really changing their patterns any. They're still just coming at the same time, but it's getting darker earlier now.
Hmm
They're really not changing anything.
Yeah.
So these people that were seeing deer all summer long, you know, at 7 o'clock and it didn't get dark till 9. Well, guess what? Now it gets dark at 7 o'clock and the deer are just, you know,
hmm
if you think of it that way, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they're really not changing their pattern that much. They're
Yeah.
probably
It's
still
just
coming at the same 7 o'clock.
yeah.
You know,
It's just a lot going on this time of year with hunting pressure and food sources changing. The leaves are dry. Vegetation's drying up. You're getting cold. It's getting cold. They're gearing up for the rut.
and
People here, people there.
I think everything's going to happen a little early this year.
Yeah. Good.
I don't know what you're thinking, but I'm getting leaves dropping already. Um, Crap, I had the leaf blower out today, blowing leaves out of the yard.
Yeah. We'll probably have a good
You know,
pre-rut, and as long as we get cold temperatures and
with that cold front coming in this weekend,
yeah.
if it has any amount of rain or wind with it, we're
hmm
gonna lose a lot of leaves. I think
Yeah.
real fast.
Yeah.
You know,
I looked at the 15-day forecast,
yeah,
and looks like when we go for sika hunting, it's
it should
gonna
be prime.
it's gonna be 47 in the morning and about 65 during the daytime.
Or the mosquitoes gonna eat me.
Nah, we should be good.
I
Should be
hope.
good.
I hope, because man, I'm really battling them right now. Holy,
Yeah. Yeah, we should be
I
good.
didn't break out the thermocell, but whew, they're tearing me up.
Yeah, so
And the ones in
um
New York on the bear hunt were ruthless. They was
right, yeah.
biting me. It was in the 40 degrees. It was 47 degrees that one morning, and they were
Well,
biting me.
tearing
Yeah,
you up.
yeah. I was fresh meat up there, man. That's what the other
Mm,
guy said. He's like, "What is going on?" I'm like, "These things are ruthless, man.
right.
They'll bite all day long.
Well,
Crazy."
you have anything else to say about the October law?
Not really. I just, like I said, I think when people, and someone will probably get offended by this, but y- you're just getting outsmarted at this point.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
I mean, it's kind of funny to say, but you know, it's that's what's happening. I mean,
Hey,
you're admitting that the deer are beating you. You know,
when you deer hunt and you don't see nothing, you're being outsmarted.
you're being outsmarted.
Because obviously you're hunting there because the deer are there. You've seen deer there. There's a trail, whatever it is, you pictures, whatever it is,
Yep,
and you're just being outsmarted. And it happens
yep.
most of the time when you deer hunt. It doesn't work out that way. And
Doesn't-
then there's times where everything falls into place. The deer shows up, you shoot it,
Yeah,
and you get it.
yeah, and you may have already screwed up and don't know it.
Right? Yeah. So
You know,
yeah,
so
people, just relax a little bit. Realize that hunting season started. Think of where deer are going to go when they're pressured, and go with that,
yep.
and you should be good.
I mean,
So,
you might even have to abandon it for a couple weeks till they start getting frisky again.
hmm
You know,
um, Yeah.
If
So,
does are coming to the field, guess what? The boys are going to show up.
hmm,
So
on that dough factory.
on that dough factory, yeah. Don't get too excited, guys. I mean, it's early. It's first week, and that's a lot of the issue. Like we already talked about. There's people are moving around, stirring stuff up.
Yep. If
They're
anybody
looking to
has,
change.
yep, if anybody has any questions, further questions about the October law, guys can message us Instagram, Facebook, shoot an email, send a pigeon, um,
Pigeon.
pigeon, whatever you want, guys want to do. So, comments, let us know.
All right. 41.